let's move on then. Let's talk about Karmine Corp. Because, mate, bearing in mind now, your Yamato wasn't there. So I'll straight up, I don't give a fuck about the Karmine Corp org. I'm not French. Spoiler, I'm actually English, which means historically I shouldn't like French people. I don't want this team to succeed because of them. There were only 2 reasons left I want this team to succeed, and that is jungle and ADC, bought and upset. And mate, it's going to be, even though Karmine Corp, I predicted this last week, it is going to be better for them. They're going to win some games now, and they're going to have some games that are going to look decent, and they're not going to have, and also, they've had time together, got more and more time to iron out the kinks. Mate, this is still the upset nightmare simulator, this fucking team. Because if you noticed, bro, it's like if you've ever played a bad solo queue game as an ADC, and you know that, like, it doesn't even matter if you get 2 kills early on. The dickhead top lane is going to feed 5 kills. You know that feeling of, like, what you do never actually gives you, like, the momentum to win? That's what I feel like when I watch this team play. Like, they still haven't fixed up. Sarkin, by the way, is still just an empty chair. Cabochard's, here's the thing, he's just not as bad as the first 2 weeks. He was just so bad those first 2 weeks of last year that, like, just not being that bad makes you look all right. Targamas is still a mute doing nothing. Like, bro, what has changed? What has changed? Like, Upset still does the best he can. Bo does what he can, but it just doesn't have a team that works. Like, I think this team is still bad. It's just that because of the nature of the league, they might be able to do what I said and come 5th to 6th. They might just be able to do it. Like, I think, but I don't think it's a good team, mate. I still don't think this is a good team, personally.
So here's the thing. I actually think this team, this is fucking crazy. This team is actually best suited not playing like the rest of the LEC. This team should not play to actual like bot lane. They should actually look to, because of like the strength of what you've got, the players you've got, and so you should attempt to play to the best version of League of Legends. I actually think Bo and Sakin should be basically playing for like Cabo, who then and then Cabo creates space to isolate farm and create a midsection that Upset can then play on and give them a platform to actually get to mid game and be able to like team fight. Now, last year I was actually thought Upset's like performances like, on like Varus and like Lucian, I actually don't think he played his like best individual League of Legends ever. I actually think he made loads of
You mean last split, yeah? Last split.
Last split, yeah, yes. Sorry, last split. Yeah. I think he made like a lot of uncharacteristic like positioning mistakes and stuff like that. But like the games were lost anyway. But like,
sure,
you should still give like your best, like the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
So, but in the consideration of like, you see like some of the like the KC game that they lost to like Fnatic. Yes, Fnatic are one of the better like teams, but you're actually looking, they still have a lot of the problems where like even when they have like the gold leads, they're not good at like spacing out like team fights and creating like pockets. And people give like a lot of consideration like to it. Like I was someone because I watched them and seen him for like a long time. Bo is like a very, very like skilled like player, but I think a lot of people need to understand like it is very, players are not the same when they play on like foreign teams, and particularly when you play on foreign teams who no one actually shares like a language. Like we're at the point where like, you know, Upset and Bo are like talking the most and coordinating like the most, even in like plays and stuff. And you can hear how like chaotic like the comms are and stuff. And I don't think the communication in the team is like the best, and it's actually really, really hard to like follow what's getting called. It doesn't help when you've got like people like Sakin just calling stuff that's abstractly not true and just cannot happen. But put it this way, like I think Bo is like a very, very, very good like good player, but he's still like extremely like greedy and like wants to try and play like a tempo or like sometimes like a level of like disrespect. That like he needs like someone to like not rein him in, but like, you know, help him like understand and evaluate what like the team is like wanting to do in like front of them. Like there needs to be someone on KC that's like talking about the pace at which team fights are going to get played, because you have like sometimes backline and frontline separating and not going forward together, and these types of things like just can't happen right now in like modern League of Legends. And yeah, it's really hard, but and that's a thing that's going to happen when you have a lot of people that don't share language. But you've chosen to play with like Bo, and so someone's kind of going to have to either you're going to have to like talk to Bo and like try and like bring it in, or you're going to have to like allocate someone to like talk, because I'd be really interested to basically say who's like setting up like the team fights and stuff. The other thing is like, put it this way, I don't think Targamas is that good, but last year him and Upset were actually like
last split, but we know what you mean.
Listen, sorry. Last split, they fucked me up, Thorin. They got me with like, these early ones. him and Upset were playing, like, they were getting push in bot lane, and they were getting themselves into positions where they would attempt to do dives and stuff. Now, they weren't always playing the matchups like LPL, LCK level, like dodging the skill shots, but they were actually getting, like, the push off, and then fumbling what to, like, sometimes do with those, like, pushes. So there was actually, like, positive elements to it. I feel like the team just needs to try and find time to get, like, more coordinated. They've still got, like, skilled players. It'll be interesting where it goes. I'm actually really surprised Sakin's as bad as he is, because he is someone that I watched in the ARLs. And
you figure eventually the nerves should just go away and he should just play a normal game eventually, right? Come on.
Yeah, it's just so... It's just so perplexing, because he, like, makes mistakes that are, like put it this way, just because you go to the LEC doesn't mean that, like, people's champions move 3 times as fast or 4 times as tanky and, like, people don't take damage. But, like, his mistakes are just... They're quite perplexing at times, you know. Like, it's like, even at ERLs, this play would not have been good, or like that was not good target selection. Would they cut at that level? So I'm not too sure it'll go on to really where you go with him. But from reported, like, what people were saying, and then, like, the voice comms, like, Cabo's like the biggest voice, and even though Cabo might not be the most, like, insane like, skilled player, I think you've kind of got to, like, latch onto that to give this 5-man the best possible chance. But we'll see. I think they'll be better this split. They've showed way more positive qualities, but it'll be interesting to see where they go.
The saddest thing is, even though I was quite high on the original roster, the Targamas thing was just based on, when I saw him in the RLs, he was all right. So I thought, maybe it'll be a problem. I always, if you'd have given me a choice, this was the team I always thought should have signed Trimby, by the way. It just seems obvious. First of all, I can tell you, I know Upset. He fucks with Trimby. He thinks he is good. And then secondly, now, for what we know now from the voice comms, Bo is crying out for a player like Trimby to join in the fucking conversation and actually figure out, like you say, what we're going to do. And it's the other player that can move around the map, for fuck's sake. Like, that's why it's so insane to me that they did just fire him out, but then not sign fucking Trimby. It's like, at least do the other one as well, for fuck's sake. Because I just want to say something quickly about Bo that goes like this. This is where you are giving yourselves away and self-reporting on Reddit, you idiots. When you say on Reddit about Milky Way from FPX, I heard before about a player who was good. So what you're saying is you don't watch the games because you think they're the same player. You think that's the same guy. That's how I know you're just parsing other Reddit comments and trying to intuit what happens in League of Legends. Because the Milky Way example is mental. Because here's the one thing I'll say even I didn't think about when Bo played for FPX. Is he was playing with prime fucking Doinby. Prime Doinby, by the way. The one that could lane and was the god shot caller. Now, if you know Doinby, the joke is about 1 million junglers, a lot of Koreans, by the way, or this guy, like, if they're fucking Korea. Like, think about some of those. Kled is an obvious one, but some of the others y'all won't even remember. Flawless. Some of these motherfuckers should just be tithing to Doinby. He had them, like, relevant in the LPL, and people actually at one point were saying, these guys are pretty good. And then the joke is, most of them never do anything after Doinby. So Doinby is, like, the ultimate fucking fixer for the jungle. I mean, Tian also. Think about Tian at his best. And Tian, when he's not with Doinby, it's very different, isn't it? No matter how good the mid laner is.
Almost it could be on the LPL with Swift.
It could be Knight. It could be rookie mid lane. It doesn't matter. It isn't the same as when he has Doinby. So first of all, obviously, he doesn't have Doinby in the West, and he's speaking in the English language, right? But then I'll throw this in there as well. Meanwhile, the Milky Way guy doesn't have Doinby. So that's not even the same scenario at all. But yeah, that's the killer for me. Is because people who are still out on Bo, it's like, bruh, just give up. You're just saying you have no eye test. You have nothing going for you at all. Because you can certainly argue things like, should he be, like, here's the obvious arguments you could make against Bo is maybe he shouldn't be in a Western team. Maybe that doesn't work. Maybe the culture doesn't work out. Maybe the fit doesn't work out. Maybe coaching staff can't get through to him in somewhere. But the one thing you can't deny is his fucking talent, mate. This would be like, I'll give you the example, and I hope you can get this as a random fan. This would be like, people probably know I don't like Selfmade because of some of the shitty things he did as a teammate and things he said about me publicly. But I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't go, he has no mechanics either. Because that's the one thing he obviously has. But you're so dumb that to hate on Bo, you actually tell me he doesn't have talent and that it was all fake. By the way, I'm just going to tell you right now, the one area that Bo is like Milky Way is you can't accidentally, as a bad player, get away with like 7 BO3s, and I think it was 10 for him or something. Like, you can't win that many BO3s in the LPL by accident. It's not like that. And it's not the fucking LMS or something, you idiots. Like, it's a fucking killer league. Like, you actually have to be good. So that whole topic's so played out. But whatever, we'll come to that later, because I'll definitely do some Milky Way content very soon.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.